possible. Did you happen upon that one, or
That was the ball. That was the one that I just like. I dropped the ball. My wife and I were so busy today, and I
no? No,
got here and I was like,
I've,
oh,
I've got a,
I want you to tell me about that.
I've got another tasty stout that, and one of these cans I got for Ian. So I think Ian and I will have
Okay.
some really tasty stouts in the
Okay.
future. But did you say you've got the Nine Locks one on the tap there?
I not on tap. I would never.
Oh,
I have it right here.
you would never. Oh no, it was the cinnamon bun. The cinnamon bun is on tap. Right, right, right,
I
right,
have the
right.
cinnamon bun.
And I'm the only one drinking these disgusting balsam fir ones.
That is all you, buddy.
God.
So I have brought with me Sackvegas' latest creation, which is a recreation of Uncle Leo's Odin's Winter Ale. So this is like the OG winter ale here in Nova Scotia, and I thought, what better time? That's why I was itching to get together with you.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted you to try this. So this goes live tomorrow. You can get this at Tapestry Beer Bar, the home of Sackvegas Brew Co. tomorrow at 4 p.m. So I wanted to bring that.
We tried this two years ago. I think we had a can of this because we looked for it. Oh well, the Uncle Leo's one. So was it a similar recipe, or did you? Anyway, let me get started in first. Correct. Go. I am Ross, and I am joined by not my normal co-host, but my co-host for the night, Ian Smith, Tapestry Beer Bar, 833 Sackville Drive, and together with very similar hair and beard styles, we were attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry. We've already started talking, but this is the official start of the whole thing. This is the recording and the whatnot, and everything's going to be there. I don't know, the live version's going to be up beyond that, and apart from that, technology befuddles me. Ian is live from the Tapestry Beer Bar itself right now. We were trying to get together in the same location, but then it was decided that we live too far apart.
I mean, 45 minutes is not an insignificant distance, especially after having a couple of beers. I don't want to promote that sort of bad behavior, and it's the wrong time of year to be doing stuff like that.
That is why we have always tried to. Initially, we did try to go around and visit some of the breweries and try a small flight, and then we'd always have our designated driver. It was just it became a lot easier to say, I'm in my home, you're in your home, everyone's safe and off the roads. Let's have some beers, and this was just the technology had caught up to our ability to all drink together when we wanted to.
It makes sense, and I mean, I love the format for you guys specifically because you don't just have like one or two beers. You told me to get 5. I got 2. I mean, I tried my best.
Yeah.
In a very short amount of time. And unfortunately, obviously, everything was closed yesterday. Most things are closed today. So here we are. But that gave me an opportunity to talk about how awesome Tapestry Beer Bar is, obviously. And one thing that we were talking about before this is how hard it is to find really great winter beers. So I have to search high and low and beg all of my brewery friends to say, hey, you know what? It's cold outside, so perhaps we shouldn't have a fruited saison. Let's have something dark and delicious instead.
This happened last week when we go into the LC as our limited. We have few more limitations than you do because that's.
Oh, I bet you do out there. Yeah, for sure.
The thing I love about Tapestry is you drive all over the place, and then you say, "I'll have a keg of that, and I'll have a keg of that, and I'll put it in, and then boom, we should be fine." But we mostly drive around. We ask for cans. We see what's canned, and a lot of things aren't in cans yet, and especially some seasonal things that they have on tap don't get there.
Yeah.
So we just get what's in the LC. And last week was a weird disappointment. I think that we ended up liking it, but one of them was like a crisp amber or like a cream ale or something. And they just
that was the Czech lager. Didn't you have the Czech lager from Tanner?
That was the one. And
yeah.
But no, it wasn't from Tanner. Where the heck?
Okay, hold on. I'm reviewing right now. I'm looking at my phone, and I'm going to bring this up because you sent me a photo. So you had the Great Roads one, Naughty or Nice.
Oh yes, we love that one every year.
You had the Milk and Cookie Stout.
That got better than I tried it 2 years ago. That is a better recipe. Okay. It is tighter.
Okay. Cinnamon Bun.
That's right here.
All lit up.
That got better as well.
I didn't mind that one. No. So this was funny. So Patrons 902 got rebranded to Hey Babe, got rebranded again. What the hell is it called? Oh, the Downtown Southwester or something like that. So it's the same guy that owns the Southwester out at the Lighthouse out of Peggy's Cove, but now he's got the Southwestern downtown. Anyway, huge identity crisis there. It's at Larry Utek. Anyway, they had Galaxy IPA. I was having lunch, and I was having Galaxy IPA, and I was like, okay, cool. What else do you have on tap? She's like, all lit up. I was like, ew. She said, yeah, that's what most people say. And she kind of got a little disappointed because I kind of felt like it just wasn't moving. And I said, you know what? For you, I'm going to try all lit up. Give me a glass of it. It wasn't awful. It's been awful before.
It has been.
It was not awful this year.
It was it was overly rich and way too sweet, but this time it was a much nicer blend to it. And this has been kind of the theme of this holiday ever since Halloween, actually, because often it said, oh, have you tried this pumpkin ale? I said, yeah, we had it. Then we said, oh, it's actually a little better this year. And I went, oh.
It is.
Oh, so as opposed to, I mean, I don't see, say, Garrison changing the flavor of the Irish Red and saying, oh, the Irish Red's really good this year. I don't see that happening. But the seasonal ones seems to be a bit more of a, we did a little something.
Yeah.
We made a change.
Oh, it's the Stillwell Czech style amber lager you had.
That was the one. Yeah. The Czech style amber lager. And it was good, but in the description, I think it just said something like, this might be good at Christmas. Cough, and that was it. And it was a little bit of red and white on the can. But I thought, how did you just sort of sneak this in as a Christmas ale? Like, very, very good, very, very well done. But speaking of ones that we've had before and did not like, years and years ago, we tried this because it came up. The Tannen Bomb.
Tannen Bomb.
A play on O Tannen Bomb, German Christmas tree, from Hell Bay Brewing Company down in Liverpool, if I remember correctly.
No, try again.
Hell Bay?
Oh no, Liverpool.
See,
it's my Shelburns. It's my Shelburns and the other S that I get messed up.
Yeah.
Boxing Rock and the what's the rock and roll one called? The one in Stellarton.
Backstage.
Backstage.
I really love their. I tried it like 3 years ago and I really loved it. I need to get back to Backstage. I need to get to anyway. Haven't been on the road in quite some time because everything's busy. But Hell Bay, blah 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 blah. Blonde ale infused with balsam fir and honey. We collaborated with the Christmas Tree Association of Nova Scotia to bring you this seasonal brew. This has been their Christmas beer on at Christmas time for some. It's been on for like 2-3 years. I've seen posts from 2022. So I guess they bring this back, and I'm like,
is this your very first time trying this?
For this year? Yes.
Okay.
So we had it. Yeah, we had it 2 years ago. And basically, it is our favorite topic of conversation. We bring this up throughout the year whenever we're reading a can. And if the can says X, and then the flavor is X, then we're like,
then it's a win.
Good job.
Good job.
You did it. You said on the can, it said, this is going to taste like steamed mussels and maybe a bit of broccoli. And you're like, come on. And you try it, and it's steamed mussels and broccoli. Like, this is gross, but well done. And that's what happened with this one. We couldn't believe it. We said, you said you were going to taste like a Christmas tree, and damn it, tastes like a Christmas tree. You guys nailed it.
I think that's one of the biggest things that Jeff, my co-brewer, and I, we strive for at Sackvegas Brew Co. Is when we write our descriptions are firstly, like, they're pretty condensed. We don't want to go on and on and on and bore you by the time we get to like the third paragraph.
Was it Off Track that used to do that? Where they'd write, we don't like writing. Drink the damn beer.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. There's a couple of them that are just like hilarious. It's literally like 2 words and a period, and then another word, period, and then another word, period, and there's the description. I'm like, Jesus.
Yep.
Could you try a little bit harder next time?
I need something.
Something.
Yeah.
Crisp, clean, delicious. Like, unless you're Greg Nash from Unfiltered.
These are great.
And you can say, West Coast IPA, just fucking drink it.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking drink the beer.
I need to get Greg out here and talk to him. He seems like a really awesome guy.
Oh, he's so fantastic.
It's the vague ones that we really have to poetically decode in order to know what we're drinking. This one has a very fresh nose on it. So, okay, are you saying that it's very smelly or it's not smelly at all? Like, what does fresh mean? What kind of a word is that? This does not smell very pine tree-ish. What have you got in your glass at the moment? Oh, right, you've got your Odin's Winter Ale.
Odin's Winter Ale, yeah. So Uncle Leo's closed down. It'll be 2 years this like 2025.
Yeah.
So they closed pretty quickly after I opened up. And it was really sad to see them go. They were one of those kind of medium-sized ones that are now just peeling off really quickly. Now we've lost a bunch since I opened up. I think we've lost like 12 since I've opened up 3.5 years ago. It's been bad.
What was there was one out in Harborside changed hands. I thought it was going under, but it ended up changing hands instead.
Chris still owns it.
Okay.
Yep. So Chris actually brewed out of Route 19. Oh. So Chris and I had a conversation because I was under the assumption that things were going to change with Harborside, but he actually got Dallas, the head brewer from Route 19, tragically died last year.
I read about that. Yeah, I read about that.
They've been without a brewer for a while. So Chris said, okay, fine, from Harborside. He's like, okay, fine, I'll come help you out. So he brewed the Route 19 and kind of got them back on track from like April until September, I think. Mm-hmm. And then he came back to Harborside, and now he's kind of like open on the weekends, essentially. He still got it.
I thought I saw a big thing saying shutting down, and everyone was, sad to see you go. How is this?
100%. Yeah, he did, and then he decided not to, and I don't know.
That's great. Because I thought, and because a lot of the things were, wait, he's still open, and then someone says, no, I heard it got bought out, and the rumors were flying, and
there was a lot of stuff. So, Uncle Leo's, it's called Odin's Winter Ale. It's the OG kind of winter ale from around this area. How's that? Yeah?
You know, it's not quite the strong pine tree flavor as before. Okay. It's mellowed. Okay. And
that's probably a good thing.
I can see that, but before it was a novelty, hilarious. Oh, you have to try 2 sips of this, and you might need to spit the second one out. But this is it is now drinkable.
Well, that's wonderful.
But it is a tree flavored beer.
So I wonder, like, I'm sure it's the same sort of brewing process. So this one was crazy. So this, the Odin's Winter Ale, in my little Grandfather 70 that I use, in my little kettle, I put in 2.5 pounds of fresh juniper branches that me and my co-brewer Jeff cut down at High Head in Lower Prospect, Upper Prospect, on a hiking trail. So like in the mash to go along with our grain bill was 2.5 pounds of these fresh juniper branches just kind of floating around and infusing themselves. It was really, really cool. Mm. So this beer turned out like it's a tiny bit piney, but there's a little bit of sweetness to it too that you would expect from like the juniper berries that grow on it. So they're a little bit tart, but there's also some sweetness going on. So it's a really, really nice combination. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out.
I'm definitely envious.
I take zero credit for this. This was designed by Carl Whiffen from Uncle Leo's, and he was kind enough to give me the recipe for it. Like he gave me the entire thing. He said, "This is how you brew it. Brew it." And it was funny. Like we had that conversation last summer when I was thinking about brewing and like going through all the hoops and all the BS to become a brewer. Mm-hmm. And I had that conversation with him at Off Track. I was sitting at Off Track having a beer with Johnny and talking with Carl on the phone. And then Carl said, "Okay, cool. Like I'll have it emailed to you by the end of the day." Oh. The recipe for it.
So it's not only an homage, it's also a recipe share.
It's a recipe share, 100%.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think I could have a second one of these.
Oh wow!
It's
that's come a long way.
Yeah, it really has. It's more of a hint at the back end, and this mostly tastes like, I forget what they said it's based on. If this just starts out as a lager,
I was kind of wondering
or
what's in like the front end of it.
yeah, I mean,
it's got to be some sort of ale.
It's very pale. It's very clear. I mean, it could be. It's definitely cream ale or lager of some kind.
Okay.
Hellbay, Tannen Bomb, our beer, blah 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 blah. If I remember correctly, it didn't have a. Oh, here we go. No wait. We were skeptical when approached by the Christmas Tree Association, but Brewmaster hit the nail on the head with fir-infused honey ale. Honey ale. Okay.
Okay.
Combination of original ideas and research into traditional Quebecois methods of producing fir beer have turned out a light ale with subtle fir flavors that's both easy drinking and innovative. I will give them that. It has subtle fir flavor. Where you sort of drinking and saying, did someone put some pine needles in this? What's the story here? But it's easy to drink. It's very smooth. It's not sharp. It's not rich. It's not annoying your taste buds. It's just kind of a very interesting.
What about the sweetness from the honey? Do you get that at all?
More of an overall roundness to it. Like again, the sweet often cuts down the bitter that you would get through the middle of it.
Of course.
So it's there, but it's just part of the dance.
Yeah.
It's honestly, you can sort of keep it. You feel it keeping the fur or the needles, at bay.
Sounds well balanced.
It's very, very well balanced. That's quite so much nicer.
Well, now I'm gonna have to get it. You sold me.
I found it in canning. Because it's oh man, so there's NSLCs, like the big box everything's, and then there's these little tiny stores, like a little mom and pop store, a little convenience store out in here. There's one in New Ross. There's one in Vaughan, halfway along the Chester to Windsor road there. That one is brilliant because it's cottage country. So there's just a bunch of cottages and campgrounds and everything everywhere. Right. And they've just got everything. Like, what do you need? Toilet paper, washing machine, powder, case of beer. Boom, here you go. It's all right here. And their selection is outstanding for craft beer.
No way.
They've got almost an aisle of Propeller. They had everything. They had things I'd never even heard of. And then up in the other direction of me is canning, and I wandered in there, and this is tiny little. It's like this L-shaped hallway off the edge of the grocery store there, and I looked through, and I found a couple of these, and I was like, oh my god, the Tannen Bomb! I can't find that anywhere. I don't know who's even making that. So
are you sure it's from this year? Did you check the date?
I looked for a date, but. It was not very helpful. It's got a little tiny sticker on it. It says 242756.
No, it's a skew.
And then on the bottom, it's just got a big stamp of 28.
Oh, weird.
So, if it is last year's beer, what I will say is, if you really want this one to taste good, leave it a year.
Obviously.
And it tastes amazing. So that was really nice.
In improper storage conditions, like the NSLC likes to do, like in their 22 degree shelf instead of their fridges.
Middleton. I think I was in Middleton. Was I in Middleton? I was somewhere, and instead of the walk-in beer fridge or the cooling area, it was just a room temperature.
Just sitting there.
And there's all the craft beers, and I went, what?
Yeah.
What are they all just doing out?
The NSLC gotten so much shit for doing that at the Sackville Superstore, and they've been doing it for so long. But so many people got so annoyed with them that it was like they had to do it. So they closed it down for like 2 months, renovated the entire thing, and now there isn't a single beer on the shelf. It's all in fridges.
Well, I mean, most of the LCs around here, I think that's the way they all are. There's nothing on shelves anymore, except for this one that I found, this diamond in the, well, not a diamond, but this one little ugly wart still out here in the valley.
Zirconia in the rough.
Yeah, that's true. I have another fir, or at least some sort of tree beer one here. I wandered into my local tap room for Saltbox up here in Wolfville. I know the staff there.
Right. Yeah, right beside Patty's.
And Saltbox has got the Balsam Blue. I said, do you have any Christmas beers? Or you have any holiday beers? They said, no. And I went, oh. And they said, well, we've got this new one that's here for the season. And I said, well, Christmas is a season. Are you following me here? And it's it's a Balsam Blue, so it's a blueberry pine tree thing. And when she described it to me, I I was going through honestly the hell of when we had the Tannen Bomb before, but apparently that's much better. So we couldn't think of a better way to celebrate the holidays than by showcasing two of Nova Scotia's most prolific homegrown products. Our Balsam Blue is brewed with the tips of local balsam fir trees and lots of Nova Scotia wild blueberries to create a light, sparkling ale that combines the bright, festive flavor of fruit with a touch of tangy pine, the perfect libation to lift your Christmas spirits.
Oh my!
How
do you do?
I'm glad they didn't go with like two of other Nova Scotia, famous things about it. We combine the most famous parts of Nova Scotia. Rusty cars and unemployment.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay. I'm going to see if I can find a little thing about mine. Just 1 second, please.
What do you got there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I can just look at my own website. Silly me. 1 moment.
That's because you got them all described there.
I have a triple IPA from Big Spruce that comes out this time every year, thus making it a Christmas beer, Festivus for the rest of us.
I did see that one, but I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know if you can get a can of it or not.
Mind-blowing amounts of Talus, Citra, and Mosaic hops equals huge tropicals aromas layered on top of that bold and pushy 9.9%. Sip slowly, friends. Very limited release in expletives.
So if I were able to get away with everything, yes, I would be down at the Tapestry Beer Bar right now, trying all these delightful holiday things. And honestly, in thinking about it more so, I think I should just do the whole show from your place every week, because you've got a whole different selection nearly every week. We could just go through them all, saying, "Yep, all of this, please."
And hopefully 2025, Sackvegas Brew Co. We're going to try, we're both busy, to brew once a week. So we're going to try very hard to brew once a week. So we'll always have cool things. That's a face. Tell me about it. Tell me what you're tasting.
Oh, I'm just getting a smell.
Oh, okay.
It's a blueberry ale, but what I like about it is that's a very amber. So a good blueberry ale comes away from the pale. So
mine looks like chalk.
Oh, it's just, I love that muddy river look. That
is, yeah, it looks like the Charles River, but a little bit more approachable.
Yep.
It's like, oh God. You can smell the booze on it. You really can.
It's a 9.0. I think I've moved up.
9.9.
9.9?
Might as well fucking call it a 10 and just be done with it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
the Tannen Bomb was a 5. This is now a 6.2. So we'll see what a 6.2 does.
Whew. So there's some triple IPAs that taste like orange juice with vodka. They taste like screwdrivers.
And
there was a screwdriver one that I had not so long ago. Oh, it was Leviathan.
Yeah.
Propeller's Leviathan. It tastes like a screwdriver.
It did. Like you felt like you were just getting vodka drinks. Yep.
It's orange juice and vodka. That's Festivus for the rest of us.
Okay.
It's a screwdriver. I'm not mad at it.
Just mix us some fuzzy navels, put some peach schnapps in there and have a time.
Yeah. I should probably throw some ice cubes. Fuck, that's boozy.
That might help, actually. Some of the really boozier ones, like an Imperial, not the Imperial Stout, but the triple IPAs could benefit from the odd.
It's true. However, I have the coldest beer in Nova Scotia. 2.5 degrees Celsius. So I'm not really sure it needs it per se. But one of these days, I'm actually going to do an open challenge to all of my compadres that do like taproom stuff. And I'm actually just going to pour it and then stick a thermometer in that and say, ha, I dare you. How cold is your beer?
I think, much like, Party Time is more of a YouTube channel about the brewing process. And James does a lot of cool videos about the process and what he's putting in there. Cool. I feel like Tapestry needs a weekly, just a YouTube video of you kind of wandering through things, showing stuff off. And it can be a temperature 1 week and just every week just saying, this is what we got on tap, check it out.
I mean, there's TikTok for that, but I just don't have the time.
It is the time and the editing and the everything. But honestly, if you just like, I don't know, first in on a Monday and just sort of do a quick, here's all of this, and here's me having this one and try that. Just going down the row and naming everything off.
I mean, I have no problem sitting here and bullshitting with you, so I suppose I could do that.
Exactly. I'll help you. Just give me a video chat and I'll ask, what's that one? And then just film that. This is equally smooth.
Oh yeah. Tell me more. Come on.
It is exactly the same on the blend of the fir tree. That little kind of that bite of a balsam fir, where you sort of say, "Oh yeah, someone has squeezed some pine juice in here," and then there's this funny little bite of it is a bite. It is a little bit of a blueberry aftertaste, and it just kind of goes, "Hey, I'm a blueberry ale." It's like a reminder at the tail end, kind of said, "Whoop, blueberries."
So you're telling me it's pine first and blueberry second?
Yes.
Weird.
I was kind of expecting it to be the same in the middle of the body. It's effectively a pale ale on the front.
Yeah.
And then it says, middle of the body is fir tree.
Okay.
And then blueberry tail out. Smooth as anything. Really good.
Well, that's good to know.
This is wild. I was expecting gross night with everything tastes like Christmas tree. And I'm like,
I was making fun of you when you showed me the selections. I was like, there is no way I'm trying that. No, I'm not doing it. But now I'm curious. Like you've gone 2 for 2 with your selections, and now I got to try these.
I mean, I'm not okay. So I'm not spitting them out. I'm not saying everyone needs to try these.
No, you're not. No.
I think I'll tell Ian that he needs to try the Saltbox one because he needs to remember. He's the only one other than me who remembers what the other Christmas tree one tastes like. So we're kind of like, okay. But this new, much lighter, more approachable kind of flavor is I'm into that. That's not bad.
I dig it. I love it.
They've done it. That's the thing. I have now. Okay, the next two. Now we go from light blueberry pine tree thing. Now we enter into.
Going dark from here.
Yeah, we enter into stout country over here.
Yeah. What have you got now?
Well, they're both 9%, so I don't know which one to do first here.
Good gracious.
I've got the Chocolate Orange Stout.
That's 9%?
That is 9.0.
Holy shit.
And the Cinnamon Bun Imperial is also 9%.
And I've got that on tap. Here at Tapestry Beer Bar at 833 Sackville Dash. In between Pizza Delic and Apartment 3. So you can get your caffeination buzz on, and you can come here and have booze and eat pizza.
You know, there's something about having a whole lot of caffeine first and then going on a beer binge. That seems like a good idea because then you'd actually be awake. Because usually after 3 beers, I'm sort of like, can I just, do you have a hammock? Where's the sleep? Where's the nap room?
100%.
I need a
100%
nap.
Before I show up at a tap room for a big night, I chug 2 Rockstars back to back. I'm not even lying.
Oh. I didn't really realize that was an option. There is nothing written on my 9 Locks chocolate and I can't tell.
No, mine.
I can't tell if this is this an orange chocolate stout or is this a chocolate orange stout? The font is kind of misleading. Like is it?
I think it's like it's supposed to be one of those like not the After 8, but you know like those chocolate things that you can get that's got like orange in the middle.
Terry's.
Sure.
Terry's chocolate orange. Is that what you mean?
That's the one. That's the one.
Where you hit it and they come off in slices. I'm fairly certain that's the plan. I just mean
I poured it and I can't smell a lick of orange.
Oh dear, that's not good. I'll tell you what it says on their website. Big, bold, and extra delicious. Our chocolate orange stout is an imperial style stout crafted with chocolate and orange to be reminiscent of everyone's favorite holiday foil wrapped confection. So they're saying it's a 9.0 Terry's chocolate orange.
Ugh. You drink really fast.
There's an efficiency to it.
I definitely can't keep up with you. And I'm only drinking 12 ounces. These are only 12-ounce glasses that I'm drinking. You're drinking the entire fucking can.
Just about. There's a little tiny bit left in the other two.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm trying to. It's an hour. The trick is when it's an hour-long show and you do more than 2 beers, you got to be 15 minutes at a time.
No, there's no orange on that. That could be the triple IPA that I had before that. No.
I'm getting it. It's light. It's light. If I had just had something that was described as what did they say was in the triple IPA? Bursting? Did they say bursting, or they said it was absolute flush? More. We put more hops in here than you've ever seen in any one spot on the planet.
Maybe when I get down to like here, I'll be able to get orange.
It's the Mick Foley of hop infusing.
Mm.
If that's a thing.
Okay, so now I'm starting to get like a little bit of mouthfeel to it. So like I get the Imperial Stout part of it, but like maybe there's a little bit of like fuzzy navel in there. I'm still.
I'm smelling a chocolatey orange off the top.
But do you honestly think that if somebody gave that to you? So here's the test.
I know the blind.
If I gave this to you and said, "Here's a beer. Tell me what you think." You can't tell me that you'd be able to smell orange off of that.
Having not just had it
because
a triple IPA, I'm a yes. I can smell it. There's enough.
Okay, see? Okay, so we're here. I'm getting orange. Fine. It's a little orangey.
That's the other thing, is trying to find a glass large enough for the tall boys, because pouring half of a tall can, like unless you've got the cojones to like shake it up and really mix it and then pour it into half of the glass, you need to get the full glass. You need the full can into your glass in order to get it, because a lot of things settle, even top to bottom, and I want to let it all get in there. And we have had moments where the top of the can, if you don't have what's left at the bottom, it's a completely different beer, because you're drinking like a Nanaimo bar, just layered.
Yeah, it's got a sweetness to it. I'm not mad at it. I actually like the mouthfeel. Like, it's got a really nice kind of like creamy texture to it.
It does. Wow, that's very creamy.
Yeah.
So they do say an Imperial style stout, but they don't say Imperial on the can, on the thing anywhere.
Yeah, but it's 9%, so it's Imperial. Like stouts are like 6% at most, 5 to 6%.
Oh, a lot of the stouts we have sometimes they're like 4.3, 4.5s.
Right, down there by like Guinness and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
So anything that's in the 9%, it's an Imperial Stout. It's like an IPA is an Imperial Pale Ale because it is boozier than a Pale Ale, right?
It doesn't say anywhere. Okay, here we go. Reminiscent of everyone's favorite holiday foil wrapped confection.
Yeah. It's suggesting for sure.
That's the only mention of it being a holiday beer or a Christmas beer or a seasonal thing.
Other than the fact that it only came out like a week or two ago. I'm not mad at it. It's fine.
I'm getting more orange than chocolate, but because of the darkness of it, you're sort of just you're getting that chocolate flavor kind of in your head as you try it. A little bit rich, but I think that's just the boozy content.
That's 9%. Yeah,
that's the 9 speaking. Whew. So as I let that one simmer ever so slightly, now we can calm down, because we need to nurse a couple of Imperial Stouts so that we're able to walk afterwards. You get through the 5-0s, you slam those down, that's no problem. But when you get to the Imperial Stouts, I need to really slow down, because we drank too many one night and it was bad. But you mentioned that you come up here every now and then. So do you go physically to the breweries in and around Nova Scotia?
Most of the time I don't. So I just happen to really love that part of the world that you live in. So one of these days, I'm gonna be a big boy and I'm gonna have a place up there. But in the meantime, so now that I'm in Sackville, it's like 39 minutes to get me to the doorstep of Horton Ridge.
Yeah.
that is not driving the speed limit, obviously.
Nope.
But like that gets me on the doorstep of some of my absolute favorite places to go. So I'm a big winey as well. So I drink a lot of wine. And I'm completely in love with Nova Scotia wines. So obviously where you are is wine country, very, very much so.
Did I mention this might not have come up the last time? So there's the double. There's several wine tours in this area. One of which is the double decker bus that rattles around. I'm one of the guides on it.
Oh, of course you are.
And now,
you'd be perfect for that.
It's mostly the job is inviting strangers and trying to keep drunk people on a double decker bus and talking about Nova Scotia and the Annapolis Valley. So it's easy. But every now and then you get a couple of people, and because honestly, the funniest part about our wine tour, it's been the double decker, the Magic Winery tour, and it goes around to all the ones you'll think of: Grand Pré, Luckett's. In fact, there are 10-ish wineries in Kings County, and we go to all of them.
Yeah.
In Kings County, so we go all the way across to Blomidon. But one year, it was during the COVID thing, and all of the wineries were saying, no, we're closing everything down, we're not letting people in, we're doing this and we're doing that, and a lot of people renovated, like Benjamin Bridge. But Sea Level, Millstone Harvest Brew House, they reached out and they said, hey, can we be on your tour?
Yep.
And we're like, yeah, sure, let's go there. So that became I've been doing that part of the tour for like 2-3 years, where we go to Blomidon Estate and you go out there and try the rosé. And everyone's really, it's beautiful stuff. It's great things. And I talk to Tim, and it's all great. And then we go along the road and we go to Millstone Harvest Brew House, just along there in Sheffield Mills. And I have this lovely 5.5 minutes of, now here's where I get to explain to you why going to a brewery on a wine tour is a fun idea. And I sell them on, here's what we're gonna have, and it's this and it's that, and there's ciders, and I am still trying to get what I call the wine lovers flight on the menu.
Yeah,
which is a flight of their ciders and the blueberry ale.
For sure.
And I tell people on our way there, I say most days, pretty much everyone on our tour says, you remember that brewery? That was my favorite stop. So they love it out there.
I mean, it's gorgeous. So my wife and I have been going there ever since Millstone bought Sea Level.
Yeah, and moved it up.
Right? And moved it to the farmhouse. And it's Baby Boo's favorite brewery. Boo has been to 53 breweries. Obviously not just Nova Scotia. She's been to like 20 in the U.S.
Has she been kicked out of any?
Not yet.
My son has been bounced.
Oh, stop it!
He was an infant.
You're trying to one up me.
And we were bounced from schoolhouse because it was 8 p.m. And we had a 3-month-old in a carrier on That's open mic night.
Totally illegal. I mean, unless they're closing. Like, are they trying to say that he's underage and he can't be there past a certain time?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, that's 9. First of all, it's 9 p.m. because I run a bar and I have kids here all the time. It's 9 p.m. Secondly, also illegal to kick out somebody with a child under the age of 1 that is completely 100% dependent upon you. That irritates me. It's fine.
It irritated me at the time, but we're like, you know what? We like it here. I'm just trying to save face. That's fine. You want us out? Whatever.
Cool. So my boo loves Sea Level because she gets that huge front acre to just run around on. So mommy and daddy can sit there on a picnic table in the middle of a 35-degree canning day in suntan, and boo's just running around.
And dog friendly. So there's always pups going past. You're like, oh, can I pet your dog? I'm so excited when I go there because there's just dogs wandering around. I love it.
Honestly, it's amazing I haven't seen you because I've seen 3 times I've seen that Magic Winery, the double decker, pull up to Sea Level, and it's always been the same dude who obviously wasn't you.
taller guy.
Taller guy.
Clean cut beard.
That's the one.
Jeremy.
Yeah,
I know.
But I've seen him every time.
Of course I know.
I've only seen that double decker 3 times.
So the other thing that I like to tell people, and it's an easy sell, I say this is why everyone loves this, because when I tell them that we're going to a brewery, you see this cloud come across, and I'm always like, hear me out. We're going to a farm, okay? Because usually I am a beer guy. I'm a beer guy. I'm not a wine guy, but I love wineries because you're always out and it's, look at the view. There's acres of land. There's trees. Look at the grass. It's beautiful. It's quiet. Beautiful. Not a peep.
It's beautiful.
What do you do when you want to come to my brewery? Sure. Do the directions to your brewery start with, so you want to go in the industrial park? And we're in the 3rd strip mall part in the back. Every time. And
this is the most hilarious thing. Dude, you are so spot on if you lived in Ottawa. So me and my buddy, we went to, he got us tickets. He works for Jack FM. So he got us tickets to go see this amazing rock show, Chick rock show. We went to go see The Warning, Lizzie Hale, Hailstorm, and Evanescence. Back to back. One. Played for an hour in each. It was phenomenal. But we got there 2 days earlier, because I was like, I've never been to Ottawa since I was a grown adult. I went to Ottawa when I was like in grade 5 on this trip, and I don't really remember all that much because I didn't give a shit. But I said, now, okay, cool. Like, let's do it. Let's see what this is all about. So obviously, me being me, I was like looking up all the breweries, and I was asking all my people that lived in Ontario, and I said, hey, where should I go in Ottawa? And they said, okay, check these couple of places out. I said, okay, cool. So I'm Googling them, and I'm like, there's like a mechanic shop and a metal fabricator place and whatever. Like, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I land and I go to the first one. Sure enough, it's an industrial place. And it was this really rad place. The beer was fine. It was okay. But it was like this really cool place that was like a music venue. It was a music venue first that made pretty so-so beer. But like they sell out every single rock and roll show. So I say to this guy, who's the owner, and I said, hey, where should I check out? He's like, okay, check out these 3 places. And I'm Googling them. I'm like, I'm beginning to see a trend here. Like, I don't even need to take an Uber to know that every good brewery in Ottawa is in an industrial park.
You need the space for the big, I get it. You need the space for the big drums, right? You need a big drum space. But the bonus, especially in rural Nova Scotia, Wayfarers, Brick and Barrack, they're right next door to each other, and they're right there in a small town. You've got that, and then 2 garages, and you're kind of downtown in the back of a restaurant. And it fits. Candid Brewery in Antigonish, they're on the main strip. Truro Brewing until closing, they were right right there, fit in amongst the stores. You go to Jennifer's of Nova Scotia, and Heritage Brewing is next door down in Yarmouth. And a lot of people, there's a little bit of out in my garage kind of stuff, but again, that's some more rural Nova Scotia stuff. Lazy Bear out in Smith's Cove, Danny Tanner down in Chester, and it's like that. The city ones, though, well, no, because Unfiltered, it's right there in the strip. It's on the main strip, and it's just right there, cooked in the middle.
The only one that's in an industrial park is Burnside Brew Co.
Yeah. Well, Good Robots operation across from the airport.
That's not in the city. Come on now.
No, but it's your main. I know you can't say that they do 100% of the brewing. They do not do 100% of the brewing on Roby Street. You can't fit that. Tap rooms aside. But I did, I do that for the purposes of humor on the wine tour. And it's just nice to go to a brewery that looks and feels like a winery, and that's where
it's beautiful. No, for sure. And that's kind of that's definitely one of the biggest things I love about Nova Scotia Vineyards. So you mentioned Blomidon. Did you have their gold award-winning Chardonnay?
At Blominen Estate?
At Blominen. Yep.
Sure. I ask them about reds all the time. No, I do not.
Okay. So they won gold in an international vineyard and an international winery competition.
Wow.
As the best Chardonnay in Canada.
Were those the ones that I do know this story. I do know this story because
and it's a brand new wine.
But this was the story that I told because when the current winemaker Tim, whose last name escapes me at the moment, he bought out when he bought out this place. It was I'm not sure if it was a winery before or what the name of it was. Tim took ownership of it. He bought it out something like 2014, 2015. I get the year muddled. But when he took it over, the owners of it previously, they took him for a little walk around the grounds. This is a story that I tell on the bus. This is one of my favorite stories.
Okay.
And they said, "Oh yeah, this is all this and that and this and that. Oh, that over there, those are Chardonnay grapes. They never grew.
No.
My advice to you, tear that up and start over.
Burn them."
And Tim's there looking at it going, "Yeah, all right." And he worked at it.
Yep.
And he said, "No, I think we can get something out of that. Year after year after year after year, and finally got a little bit of a yield out of it."
Yeah.
And then I told them on the bus, and I said, "And now, did you try their award-winning?" They said, "Yeah, they did. They always give us a tasting of their award-winning grapes." And I said, "That's those ones." And I said, I love that because in some way it's one of those Antiques Roadshow thing. Like you don't know what you've got. Someone just says, "Oh, you see all that crap over there? Don't bother with that." Like, "Oh no, I'm gonna find an original Stradivarius viola signed on the bottom in unicorn blood or something."
And one of the scary kind of like realities of that situation is climate change. Chardonnay has never done well here because we've never had consistently warm enough summers. Chardonnay grapes do really, really well in California, for example. And in warm places. I'm telling you that the valley is warming up so much that it is now yielding great Chardonnay grapes.
Are you accusing Nova Scotia with a straight face of having inconsistent weather? How dare you, sir?
I would never do that.
How dare you?
As I look outside and I see 2 feet of snow here in Halifax, and I think to myself, this is the first time that I've had a white winter since I'm back from Las Vegas in 20. Most of the time, I'm out in like shorts and a t-shirt, and it's 5 degrees, and I'm cooking Christmas steaks.
I feel like 5 years ago, Christmas Day, I went out for a walk, and I was with someone, and we went out for a walk in the woods, and we found this little pond, and we took our shoes off, and we dipped our feet in the water.
Oh, 100%.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, I'm normally like jumping into a lake up to here because there's no ice on it.
Oh, it's almost that time of year where I threaten to do the polar bear dip and then never do.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
We're there yet. I always think that I'm going to do it, and then I don't.
You still got another couple of days to chicken out. Don't worry.
I'm not going to chicken out. I'm going to forget.
New Year's Day. Come on.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go?
It's less chickening. Well, Kingston. No, not Kingston. Kingsport.
Kingsport.
Why
don't we go to Scott's Bay?
They do one. Do they do one at Scott's Bay?
Yep.
I'm going to look up who does one because I thought Kingsport Beach was the main one for this area.
And that's fine. We don't need to do a main one. We don't need to like in case we check it out, we want to be like the only ones.
I'm not. It's not about chickening out. I won't chicken out. I'm so lazy that I won't get up in the morning. That's the problem.
What time are they going?
Like, I don't know, 8 a.m., 7 a.m.?
Why? That's foolish.
Right?
Why can't they wait till like noon for the sun to come up?
Right?
Who the hell wants to go swimming?
Because it's first thing it's the first sunrise. The sun is just brightening on the new year. You got to go in the water. I get it. You know, we're stealing some of these earthy festivals and whatnot. It's more about nature and the passage of time than anything else. And you know, get Saturnalia back from the Jesus freaks. That's what I'm here about.
Sure.
North Brewing Cinnamon Bun Imperial Stout. There's nothing on the can. This is
sitting in a fancy glass.
9% number 2. Do you know what? Here's the thing. I've been saving it because I don't have a North Brewing glass. I've got a 9-locks glass. I had the 9-locks and the 9-locks. I had the Saltbox and the Saltbox. And the option was to have the Hell Bay one in the Sackvegas.
In the Sackvegas.
But I decided not to do you dirty like that.
But you saved cinnamon?
Well, I'll put a North Brewing Imperial Stout in the Sackvegas. Hell yes.
Well. Have you had this yet?
No.
Okay.
I have not touched it. However, on the North Brewing website under Cinnamon Bun, it says, and I quote, "We couldn't find the page you were looking for." So, I mean, that sounds good, right?
Excuse me.
That's good.
On tapestrybeerbar.com, and I quote,
okay,
"Made with roasted cinnamon bark, vanilla, salt, and loads of chocolate malt, it's a balanced, rich holiday treat. This is a dessert stout, according to the North Brewing Company."
So sweet is what they're saying. Basically, tastes like drinking ice cream straight from the tub that you left out too long. What is cinnamon bark? Because isn't cinnamon just rolled up bark? Anyway, what part of cinnamon isn't bark is my question.
Cinnamon, okay. Cinnamon bark is the dried inner bark of the cinnamon tree that is used to make the spice cinnamon. What?
Cinnamomo tree?
Cinnamon. Cinnamon. CINNAMOMUM. Cinnamon tree.
I've never been as entertained as I am right now.
Cinnamon tree. That's what Google says.
Okay. Well, I'm not smelling cinnamon. Cinnamon bun. Okay, so you're gonna get sweet. You're expecting a little bit of cinnamon bun. Cinema Jason Momoa. Very little off the nose from the can. You've got it on tap, so I feel it's a slightly different story.
I do. So I get a lot of cinnamon. Cinnamon comes through on tap.
Bark. Just peeling the bark off the cinnamon tree.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the cinnamon bun.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I did it. That's the one. Now.
Let's talk about it. What do you think?
Well, here's the only judgment I've got. So this is one of the ones that they've got in the Christmas section. Okay. There's nothing written on the can. Cinnamon bun is. I mean, I got a sweet tooth, so cinnamon buns are year round. They're not just a holiday Christmas thing. But here it is.
There's a Christmas tree.
There's a Christmas tree. You just got. I mean, can you just do that? Can you put a little bit of Rudolph's antlers on your can and just say, "Hey, here you go. Have the brown ale or some kind of, I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. Spicy IPA, but it's the Rudolph Spicy IPA.
I love that.
Is there just the ability to slap a tiny amount of Christmas on your can and then you call it a seasonal ale?
So back in the day,
Uh-oh.
there actually used to be like this is kind of like it's a little bit of a misnomer, but like back in the day before I opened, so we'll talk like the before times.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be this like thing called a winter ale. So it's not an actual like recognized style of beer, but a winter ale is like a nice ale that comes out during the wintertime. That used to be a general thing. Back in the day, back when we used to have like half the breweries that we do now, and when things weren't so challenging for the breweries and it wasn't so expensive to brew, and they had like the ability and the financial flexibility to be able to experiment and come out with great seasonal beers that necessarily might not sell all that well, but would appeal to people like you and I. So there was these winter ales that used to come out. So I moved back in 2017, and like that's when I started getting into the craft beer scene here. And from 2017 until the dark ages, like there was a great number of really, really good winter ales that came out that like used the pronoun self-identified as a winter ale, right?
They were normally strong though too, or that was the deal.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, really?
The winter ale that I made right now, there's nothing strong about that. But it's like there's a certain like adjectives, there's certain descriptors, there's like a certain thing that makes a winter ale a winter ale. You'd be like, oh well, this is ridiculous. Like I wouldn't drink this during the summertime.
Maybe I'm thinking of like winter warmers. I hear that a lot now too.
Winter warmers, winter ales, yeah. Yeah,
but
winter warmers.
The warming part is this is 6.0 and up. Like let's get warm. You know, let's feel the warm from the stomach up.
Right. Not necessarily high ABV, but yeah.
Well, 9 is a bit of that's a bit of a push. I will accept a winter warmer is anywhere between a 6.2 and you don't even need to go higher than an 8. You know, you could have a. We had some 7.5. I'm trying to remember what the original what the old one was for Odin's Winter Ale.
The original Odin's Winter Ale was like 5.9. I'm pretty sure.
This is showing me at a 6.4.
Oh, shows what I know.
I mean, that's close enough. That's only 0.5 off. And as we've heard from at least one brewery, 0.5 discrepancy? That's okay.
According to the NSLC.
On the can. If you've made a 6.4 and you put 5.9, you're good.
Fine.
Wild. Fun, but, wild.
We err on the side of more boozy. Here, Sackvegas Brew Co.
Well, Ian, my regular co-host Ian gives me a hard time because whenever we get something that's coming in at a 5.0, I said, yeah, that's on the low end. And he says, come on, hold on. Just no, a 5.0 beer, that's because to him, as an Brit, as he says, Brit. Exactly. He's also, no, 5.0, that's the beginnings of strong beer. That's when you start heading up. And I love the classic line from Jon Stewart in Adam Sandler's Big Daddy.
Yep.
What year was that? Late 90s, early 2000s. But he mentioned when they talked of having a night that they were... He got together with a young lady, but it happened to be while he was on the road for business in, I think he actually did say Toronto, and then just under his breath immediately afterwards, he's excusing himself, and he says, come on, because everyone knows Canadian beer is like moonshine. So it lives rent-free in my head. Canadian beer is like moonshine. Because the other sentence that lives rent-free in my head is the classic Monty Python from the Bruce's sketch. We find your American beer is a bit like making love in a canoe.
Right.
Classic.
So
I'm more of the, okay, yeah, if you're at a 5.0, then that's your entry level. Let's get in there. And then are you a reasonable 5.9 or 6.1? Good. That is now I'm having a beer.
Yeah. It's a good afternoon. How do you do? Wake you up.
I took my daughter. I was picking up a couple cans, and the aforesaid 16-year-old daughter, we wandered into the LC. So as long as she doesn't touch anything, we all seem to be fine, or whatever. I don't know. It's rural Nova Scotia. They'll let you get away with whatever. We could have driven an ATV into the store and no one blinks an eye. So she's looking around at things and saying, how come beer is less expensive than the wine. And I said, honestly, a lot of it comes down to alcohol percentage. So if you look at it and whatever the percentage on it says, if it's a little higher, then that's usually a little bit more expensive. So she starts wandering around. She says, "Whoa, take a look at this one. This one's $40 a bottle." And I said, "Follow me." And we go over to the good Scotch section.
There we go.
I love playing the game. What's the most expensive bottle in the store you can find?
Love it.
And I think we got up to $6.22 that day.
Okay.
It's
reasonable. For
an 18-year-old Scotch whiskeys over there, and I don't know. It wasn't a Johnny Walker. It was one that I'd never heard of. But I love doing that. The little finds.
Have you been down to the port in downtown Halifax?
No.
Okay. So, and I don't know. I'm gonna fuck this up, but like, they got in this rare Irish whiskey. And I don't remember the make. I don't remember the brand. Doesn't fucking matter. But it was like from the 1970s, and it was 32 grand. But they constantly have like Louis the 14th in there all the time, which is like a super super high end port, I think.
I was going, okay, not like that as a mascot or something. That could be funny. Could you imagine the waiters dressed up like that?
Really, it's a really high. But like they've got
greetings, red goats,
all over the place. It's wild. It's crazy in there. Amazing place.
I don't know if my Scottish heritage and cheapened mentality on things is why I gravitate towards beer as opposed to wine, because I think the most expensive bottle of beer I've ever seen was like $12.
Oh.
This has been infused with a whiskey and we aged it in an oak cask. How much? $11.50. But then other people, oh, this is a 2003 Chianti from one of the summer vintages. $147,000 for this bottle that's gathering dust over there in the corner of my attic.
You got me on the doorstep of going on a very long tirade about Sam Adams' Utopias.
On the cusp of long tirade, I think is going to be.
I don't know
on my gravestone. That's what's going to be on my gravestone. Oh. He was on the cusp of a long tirade.
I don't know how to tell you that, like, there's bottles of beer exist out there that are like $750,000.
They do. Here's the assumption and the very ignorant statement. I feel like there are far fewer of those to the industry as a whole, to the number of bottles of beer on the planet, than there are super valuable old
100%.
held on to wine bottles bottles worldwide.
100%.
There are some. I know there are some. I know they exist, but I also know that if you crack one open, it's gonna be.
So one of the most sought after. Okay, I'm gonna condense this. Give me 2 minutes. One of the most sought after beers in the world is Sam Adams Utopias. So it's been made since. Yep. So it's been made. It has been made since 2001, and it's made every 2 years. So they created a strong beer. Jim Cox, the owner of Sam Adams, created a strong beer back in 2001. Said, you know what? We're going to take that 11% beer and we're going to age it in barrels for 2 years. So he aged it in Scotch barrels.
So that's got to bump it to 15?
So, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now it's brewed every 2 years. Okay? And every 2 years, it is a culmination of a little bit of every single bit of the previous Sam Adams Utopias has ever made. So they've got all of these barrels with all of this beer that's been sitting around. So last year, I was gifted the opportunity by Sam Adams. Now, you cannot buy this. You are gifted the opportunity by Sam Adams to say, hey, would you like to have this as your tapper?
It's like buying a Ferrari. You get invited to buy a Ferrari.
The opportunity to say, yes, I would love to have one of those bottles. So last year's bottle, the previous generation was aged on 2,200 pounds of black cherries, a lot of fermentable sugar, which drove that alcohol up to 28.5% alcohol by volume. It is outlawed in 15 states in America because of its high alcohol percentage.
Wait, but the lame states, right?
The lame states.
The ones that you wouldn't want to go to anyway.
Mississippi, Oklahoma, Alabama.
Whatever.
Right? Okay. So this last creation was a culmination of all 11 versions of it that came before. So they take a little bit of all 11 versions of it, fill it up. They only make 23,000 bottles of this stuff. They sell it to some people. They give other places like myself the opportunity to. As far as I know, I was the only bar east of Ontario to even have one of these bottles. And I sold that for $35 for a 2-ounce pour.
And that was probably a bargain.
And it was extraordinary. It tastes, at this point, it tastes like a really, really beautiful brandy or a port. Like it's just got, it's unbelievable how sweet it is.
It's my favorite part about the ingredients of beer. And then people have started putting them into barrels. And the best part, one of the best parts about being on the wine tour is we all get invited, all the guys never get invited to the year-end dinner, and we go and have a beautiful dinner, and it's wonderful, and there's lots of wine on tap, but whatever, I don't really care. And then eventually at the end of, so the sea level have arrived, and they bring their whiskey aged stout that they make, but they don't, because they make the Port in the Storm Porter, and that's on tap sometimes and in a can, but they never sell their stout. But they make a stout, and then they put it in the whiskey barrels or the rum barrels, and then they've got both of these barrel-aged stouts.
Yep.
And we get that at the end of the year. And
That's awesome.
I tried a little bit of both at the dinner, because the owners are there. Hey, we all want to try all of these. And we're sitting around tasting. And then the next day, my co-host Ian, he texts me and he says, "Hey, I got the inside scoop, and I got a bottle out of the place. What do you think?" And I said, "Yeah, I tried them last night. They're pretty good." that little inside track there. But what I did find something interesting about that, but I may have completely lost my brain fully.
Okay.
Is where so Sam Adams has got this product. And they make it every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
No, I did have something really clever about it, but it's gone.
I bet. Okay. I bet it was super clever.
Yeah.
So, this whole idea of barreling beer has a really cool origin story. So the owner of Grey Goose, sorry, not Grey Goose, oh my gosh, Goose Island, the owner of Goose Island Brewing Company, based out of Chicago, Illinois, was down in Tennessee on some business. I think he was down there like at a beer conference in the 90s. And he happened to meet the owner of Jim Beam. And he said, "Hey, I've got this really cool, really beautiful stout that I would love to collab with you. What do you say? You and I get together, and I take my stout and I put it in one of your barrels." Jim B was like, "Yep, absolutely. Let's do it." So that created what is now known as Bourbon County. So Bourbon County is one of the most sought after beers in the world. It's right up there with Sam Adams Utopias. It's not quite as rare, not quite as hard to find, but it's still like, if you want to buy a bottle, 500 mils, it's going to cost you like $25-30 just to buy one bottle of this beer.
Do you see how that's not $600 sitting over in the corner of the LC? Like $25 for the most expensive. I love that. I love that.
do.
It's
And it's
not
great.
32,000. It's not 32,000, but it's also not $100 a bottle.
Yeah, it's really anyway.
Beer soul.
So that's the original. That was like the very first time that a beer was aged in an American Tennessee whiskey barrel. So now they're aged in a couple of different. It's generally speaking Buffalo Trace now at this point. So they're aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels. But every year when it comes out, they come out with like 4 or 5 different iterations of it, and like every single one of them is aged in a different barrel. So it becomes like a collector sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like you can go to Chicago, or you can go to the Goose Island in Ontario, maybe if you're lucky, and be able to get like the 5 that came out that year and be able to like compare them and contrast them and let them sit by all means, because the longer that these beers sit, the better they become.
That's the other thing, where letting them sit in the. I feel like right now we're kind of at the 6 to 8 month to 1 year. I don't know that anyone's sort of letting things sit in the whiskey barrel for multiple years yet.
Oh, 100%.
Yet.
Absolutely they are.
But
Sam Adams has been letting those beers sit in those barrels. So in the Sam Adams Utopias that we had last year, there is beer that is 30 years old.
Oh. Yeah, but that's Southerners. That's Tennessee. That's Sam Adams himself. So they're kind of crazy about that kind of thing.
They are kind of.
We're getting there. We're getting there up here.
So Big Spruce, I'll tell you, Big Spruce. So we've had the privilege here at Tapestry Beer Bar to have both the 2019 and the 2020. So I had the 2019 Rasputin that was aged on peach brandy, in peach brandy barrels. So it was aged in peach brandy for 3 years before it was put away in the cellar. The Complexified that I have right now is a Baltic porter that is aged in Buffalo Trace barrels for 3 years as well.
And those are on tap?
The Complexified is. We went through the Rasputin in like a record time. We went through the Rasputin in like 3 weeks.
The only thing that makes me more excited that you have all of these things on tap, all of these interesting and exciting and rare and novelty beers on tap, is how fast you go through them. I love that. Because everyone and everywhere else I talk to, they all say the same thing. They'll say, well, if we don't have an IPA, then we're not going to sell anything. And you're telling me that if you have a complex 3-year aged Imperial Stout on tap, gone.
Gone.
So
like you cannot wait. You cannot say, oh, I'm going to wait together. I'm going to wait till like my buddies are like free on the weekend because they have George and Sierra like nipping at their heels. Like, no, like please tell mom to take care of your kids for a moment.
You got to get in there.
The boys can go out and get this beer into you because you won't regret it.
What annoys me the most is that I have a couple of friends that live in the Sackville area. It's one on Beaverbank Road and one in Upper Sackville. And all my other friends, there's a bunch of them that are right there in the HRM. I am the furthest away from you of my friend group. And you are not on a first name basis with me. That's what annoys me, because I tell them all the time, I'm like, you should be there. Guys, we need to get in there. In fact, oh wait, that actually comes down. I was supposed to organize a night where we're going to come down there and meet. So that's on me. I do need to get them in there. I've managed to get my co-host Ian in there, and I've been talking it up since the first time I came in to meet you. And as soon as I walked in, I was in love. And I can't tell enough good stories about what's going on at the Tapestry Beer Bar at 833 Sackville Drive. But I really do think it's the center of not only good beer drinking, but interesting beer drinking. Definitely an HRM, if not Nova Scotia.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
I try to tell as much as I can. I have to go and help out my my wife with son, family, kid duties, and whatnot. But Merry Christmas, everyone! And honestly, I was a surprising 4 for 4. These were very tasty beers, despite 2 of them tasting like Christmas trees. A couple of chocolate stout, well, the chocolate stout, and then the imperial, 2 imperial stout is, and I think the cinnamon bun. This is my favorite over the night. That is
okay. Well, you got me sold to the other 2 that I've never tried before. I'm gonna try them.
Personally, I don't think a fir tree flavored blueberry beer is ever going to beat an imperial stout unless you've really messed up your imperial stout, and North Brewing has not. So big marks up there. And then get yourself into Tapestry Beer Bar and try yourself, especially what Ian is making at the Sackvegas Beer Company. We tried his double IPA last month.
Yeah, SKT was around last month.
Yeah, a whole month ago. That's as often as I get down into that particular area, at least for beer drinking. I get past there for family business, but no one's ever saying, "Hey, you want to stop in here for a pint?" I'm like, "Yes, I absolutely do." Does not happen often enough. You can check out our podcast. We're available weekly. This is episode number 105, I think.
Wow.
And so we're getting there in the anniversaries and whatnot. But you can find our podcast in podcasting places. You can check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/@drinknsdry, or you can go straight to the source, drinkns.unsupervised.beer. Want to thank Ian Smith of Tapestry Beer Bar, Sackvegas Brew Company, 833 Sackville Drive, for joining me tonight. And as per usual, we're back here next week, Wednesday, the right day. You got to give me a little bit of leeway. I mean, I'm not doing anything on 8 o'clock on Christmas Day. No one's expecting that.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ian. And have a great night, everyone. Good night. We'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas, everybody.